Hello, NACWE sisters. How are you today? It is Wednesday. It's a wee Wednesday, and I have the second Wednesday of the month. And you know that I talk about how you can get things done, but our overall topic for the month is get clients now. And part of getting clients is taking care of them. It's not just once you get the client and then it's all over. So there are things you could do with your client relationships, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So in talking about getting clients, you've all heard of the know, like, and trust factor of relationships with you and your client, and it works both ways. The know, like, and trust. You want them to know, like, and trust you, but you also want to know, like, and trust the people that you deal with. And there are different things that you can do to build on those relationships. So one of the things that you want to do in getting to know your clients is make sure you personalize things when you are communicating with them, whether it's by email, a Facebook post, or anything. You want to be personable in that. You want to personalize it. And Chris actually touched on this a little bit. She was talking to us on Tuesday in our webinar. So if you didn't catch that, be sure to catch the replay later on that. But she did mention different things that people do. So you want to be personal. People love to hear their name used, and they like to see it too. They don't want it to feel like they're just one of the mass. You know, they want to know that this message is for me. This information is for me. So you want to personalize things, and that's something that you can do in different things that you do in your business. Even with something, if you're using an invoicing system, sometimes they have a section on an invoice where you can include a note. So these are things you can think about, how you can personalize things, even if it is a bill, when you're working directly with your clients. So that's just something to think about. Another thing that you can do is you need to be consistent. When you're nurturing, we're talking about nurturing the relationships with your client base, right? So you want to be consistent. You want to keep showing up. You don't want to only show up when you want something. You don't only want to show up when, oh, I've got this sale, or oh, I have, where you're expecting them to buy something. That's not the only time that you want to show up. You need to consistently show up and give value to your clients. This is part of the process of nurturing that relationship. Showing up is a big deal. If you're going to use a social media page, you need to show up consistently. If you're going to have an email list, you need to show up consistently. And this is something I'm working on this year myself with my newsletters. I got way off track, and I have a specific schedule. I didn't overcommit myself to where it's something I can't maintain. My schedule is that I do bi-monthly, so I do 2 email newsletters a month. So that's not a huge commitment. Sometimes we get stretched thin at different parts of our year, or different times something will come up. But if you know that it's not an everyday or this many times a week, sometimes picking a smaller number while you think it's not, it doesn't match what someone else is doing, you're not that person, so don't worry about that. That is a way that you can nurture your clients, by showing up consistently. So whether it's an email newsletter, a social media post, whatever ways that you communicate with clients. If you decide that you're going to do live videos, if you're going to write a blog, whatever it is, be consistent about it. Another thing that you want to look at with nurturing relationships is finding those times to connect with your client when you aren't selling something. I've observed there's someone I watch on Facebook, and she consistently sends birthday messages. But she doesn't fall into the masses because, Facebook's very generous in that it tells us when all our friends' birthdays are. You can just go right into the calendar and you can look at all the birthdays that are coming up for that month. This person that I'm speaking of, every time birthdays are coming up, the day before the person's birthday, she sends a special Facebook meme, the little pictures, the little images, to that person the day before. And it's usually sometime in the evening. So it's like she's getting the jump on saying happy birthday, but she intentionally does this. She takes this time to do those and send them out the day before. So that might not be your thing, that might not be what you want to do, but it's something to consider. How can you make that special touch point where you can nurture your relationship with your client online or offline? What is it that you can do that would make you stand out for the rest of the crowd? Examples that I've seen, staying with the birthday theme, my insurance company sent me a birthday card in the mail this past year. And the funny thing is, it was one of the few cards that I actually got in the mail. More of my messages were on Facebook or people I saw face to face, but not an actual card in the mail. So if you have that ability through your business to have addresses and such for your clients, that might be your special touch point where you can communicate and nurture that relationship. These are simple things that you could get done. So if you were going to with the birthday thing, let me just show you how that would look. Let's say you look on Facebook. You see the month. You look at all the dates of the birthdays. You go through. You know who you know and who's part of your clientele, who's part of your customer base here. And they might, now don't discard this. If they've liked your page, even if they haven't bought something for you, they should be in your follow-up bucket, because even though they don't need they may not need your service now, they may give you a referral at some point, or they may know somebody that you need to know, and vice versa. So there's an exchange in there. So that's something to consider. So if you were staying with this example, I apologize for the noise. Staying with this example, if you looked at that list and said who you wanted to contact, whether you want to do it online or if you actually have physical addresses for your clients, you could go with that avenue. What I thought was interesting when I got the birthday card that I did is they sent this card like a few days before my birthday, actually. It wasn't like at the beginning of the month they just did a mass mailing for everybody in the month of August. I actually got this card like just a day or two before my birthday, which was very surprising. I did not expect that from an insurance company. So, nurturing relationships. You can look at specific things like you might know when they made their first purchase with you, and that could be a touch point for you. Where you go back and say, are you still enjoying this product? I noticed that you bought this XYZ, and is there anything else that you need? Just acknowledging how you connected, how they became part of your client base. So that's something else to look at too. So those are two things: birthdays, anniversary type things. Other things you can do to nurture client relationships. Look for the questions. Look through when you're online in different groups. See who's asking questions. See where you can provide a valuable answer, something that will solve a problem for them. Where I work, aside from my personal business, I work in an RV community. I get a lot of questions, things that I don't necessarily do, but they know that I am a person who will find out information for them. So that nurtures those relationships, so that so that it builds that know, like, and trust feature. You know, that factor that comes into all relationships. So these are simple things that you can do. So acknowledging a birthday or an anniversary, personalizing things, whatever it is, whether you're sending any kind of communication, you want to use that person's name where you can. So there's birthdays, anniversaries, personalization, and then the last I just mentioned is looking at answering questions. That is part of nurturing that relationship. That is part of tending to that client. And don't just look at clients as someone who's actually purchased something, you know, because just because they haven't purchased something yet doesn't mean they won't ever. And like I said, they may be someone who simply gives you a referral. They may be somebody who you might work with on something else later, because sometimes we're in similar lines of work. In our group, we have several people who are coaches, and I have worked with other coaches in this group through newsletters. We shared information. I've given them information to share for me, and vice versa. And so you never know when you're going to have that opportunity to do that type of cross-referencing, I guess you could call it. It's kind of like a networking type thing. But you never know when you're going to have the opportunity either. So these are just some things to consider. The Get Clients Now series goes on all month. Every Tuesday there will be a webinar presented by Chris Carey, and she is with the company Get Clients Now. She is a representative for that, and she'll be speaking on their process and how they do it. And at the end of the month, and throughout this month, you do have the opportunity, if you want to sign up and do the 28-day program for how you get clients now. So I hope this gives you something to think about. I hope it makes you think about how you can nurture your client relationships and work on that aspect there. It's a very important part of your know, like, and trust feature. You want to work on that. You want to work on being that person. And sometimes you don't have to have all the answers yourself. Don't think that. But just know where to find the answers and where to point people. You know, you may have not written this article on the question that they're asking, but you're like, I read this, and this answers the question that you were asking about. So I hope that is helpful. I hope that gives you something to think about. Nurturing your client base this month is all about Get Clients Now. And so part of getting clients is nurturing and taking care of the clients that we have. So it's not just about amassing numbers, it's about nurturing the relationships that we have with clients right now. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm Ms. Hawkins, also serving as education coordinator for NACWE, and this is a We Wednesday segment. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Just comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Have a great Wednesday. Thank you.